See, I used to wonder what a disconnect was. But it wasn't until my heart became ready. Yeah. I couldn't change until my heart became ready to receive. I couldn't commit because my heart wasn't. Yeah. See, y'all, those were the words. That's the posture of the song. Yeah, that's the revelation of the song, is that you're ready to receive it when your heart is. Yeah. I didn't used to follow through with God's instructions, but now that yeah. I can declare something out of a hard place now because now I'm finally ready for the blessing because now my heart is. He can finally make me over because my heart is now. I can finally let go of what I've been holding on to because now my heart is ready. Yeah. See, your head being ready ain't enough until your heart ready. That's it. If you want to be made over, get your heart ready to receive. Yeah. That means to receive something, you can't be holding on to. You want to make over, make sure your heart is ready. You ready for blessings, and God's saying, is your heart ready? Because if your heart ready, your hand's ready. If your hand's ready, you can hold something. Tell your neighbor, my heart is ready to receive. I can walk by faith now. Yeah. Not my eyes are ready, but I can walk by faith because my heart is ready. Yeah. If you would turn with me this morning, since our hearts are ready. Yeah. Oh, your heart's ready? Yeah. Are you ready to receive this? Yeah. Turn with me. I'll be reading from the Amplified version of the Bible to James chapter 2. And I'll be starting at the 14th verse. Because my heart is ready. You know, when your heart is ready, you don't just receive blessings. Sometimes you receive instructions. Yeah. Sometimes instructions come with requirements and responsibility for us to fulfill those instructions. If you have received faith, it comes with some instructions to produce works. Yeah. Already preached right there. That's the whole message. That's the whole message. Tell your neighbor, walk it. Like I talk it. Yeah, I know many of you heard that there's a secular group called the Migos, and they have a song out that's called Walk It, Like I Talk It. And essentially what the song is saying is, I'm not just out here saying stuff, I'm doing what I'm. Yeah. I'm not out here saying I'm saved, I'm acting saved. Yeah, I'm not out here saying I'm free, I'm acting free. So now I'm walking like I talk it. After my heart has been ready to receive the instructions, and after the instructions have been followed and obeyed, now my hands are lifted and I'm ready to receive the blessing. Tell your neighbor, walk it like I talk it. Starting at verse 14, I'll read for the Amplified version, James 2, verse 14, and it says, man, I love this, how it reads. It's so clear, it's so amplified. It says, it starts off with a series of questions. It said, what is the benefit, my fellow believers, if someone claims to have faith but has no good works as evidence? He's proposing questions to you. And I want you to keep in mind, he's not talking to heathens, he's talking to saved folks. Yeah. He's talking to faith-proclaiming folks. right now. He said, what does it benefit my fellow believers? Not benefit you, but what does it benefit my fellow believers? If someone claims or says to have faith but has no good works as evidence, can that kind of faith save him? And see, in the Amplified version, it answers its own question. It says, no, a mere claim of faith is not sufficient. Genuine faith produces good works. Say that again. A mere claim of faith is just not enough. It's not sufficient. Because genuine faith produces good works. And he asked another question. He said, if a brother or sister is without adequate clothing and lacks enough food for each day, and one of you says to them, go in peace with my blessing, keep warm and feed yourself, but he does not give them the necessities for the body, what good does that do? It said if they cold, that means they uncovered. But you're talking about cover, but you're not providing any cover. It says that they hungry and you holding daily bread. But you haven't given them any. It said, what good does that do? And then it says, so too faith, if it does not have works to back it up, is by itself dead. And I like the Amplified version. It says inoperative and ineffective. That's a conjunction again, ain't it, Bishop? That means not only are you not working, it's not working. Faith without works is you not working, it's not working. If you're not producing, you're not working, it's not working. It says by itself is dead, it's inoperative and ineffective. But someone may say to you or claim to have faith, and I have good works. Show me your alleged faith without the works, if you can. And I will show you my faith by my works. That is what? By what I do. Yeah. See, it said, you believe that God is one. That's what you believe, right? It said, you believe that God is one. And it said, you do well to believe that. You can pat yourself on the back for believing that, but it said, the demons also believe. Ooh, is this tearing anybody up already? I ain't even preached it. It said, that means ain't nothing separating you right now from the demons with belief only. It said the demons also believe and shudder and bristle in all feel terror. They have seen his wrath. But are you willing to recognize, you foolish, spiritually shallow person, that faith without good works is useless? Was our father Abraham not shown to be justified by works of obedience, which express his faith? How many know obedience expresses your faith? It said his obedience expressed his faith when he offered, somebody say sacrifice. When he offered Isaac, his own son, on the altar as a sacrifice to God. So he had a sacrifice, he had obedience in conjunction with his faith. The works are in conjunction with our faith. It said, you see that his faith was working together with his works. And as a result of the works, his faith was completed, reaching its maturity when expressed through obedience. And the scripture was fulfilled, which says, Abraham believed God. And this faith and works was credited to him by God as righteousness and as conformity to his will. Remember, we talked about those instructions. You've got to conform to those in order for the scripture to be fulfilled. Y'all get that later. And as conformity to his will, and he was called the friend of God. The laborers are considered, friends of God. My workers, in conjunction with my faith, are considered friends of God. And he said, you see that a man or a believer is justified by works and not by faith alone. That is by acts of obedience. A born-again believer reveals. We talked about express faith. Now we're talking about revealing faith, but works does it all. Yeah. In the same way, was Rahab the prostitute not justified by works too? When she received the Hebrew spies as guests and protected them and sent them away to escape by a different route. For just as the human body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works of obedience is also dead, inoperative, ineffective. You may be seated. Tell your neighbor, walk it. Whew. Like I told you. Ooh-wee. That's heavy already, ain't it? Inoperative and ineffective. So I'm telling people I got faith. I'm saying I'm a person of faith. I'm saying I'm a believer. I'm saying I'm a child of God. I'm saying I'm part of the movement. I'm saying I'm fit for ministry. But if I'm not showing what I'm saying, then I'm inoperative and ineffective. I'm not working. It's not working. And see, I just want to clarify, the Lord is not the author of confusion. Deacon Bill, put up Romans 3:28. Let me tear up some skeptics. Let me tear up some skeptics real quick who would dare say that the word disagrees with itself. Let's get a note of clarity in here real quick, right? We just said that you're justified by your works, right? Is that what we said? We claim that we have faith and we're justified by the works. But what does this say? What does 3:28 say? It said, therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith, apart from the deeds of the law. This say works, that say faith. But see, what people aren't realizing, you got to remember Bishop say you got to eat the whole scroll. You can't just read this one verse. And I'm going to show you how they high-fiving each other and how these texts are complementing each other and not contrary to each other. All right, see, what Paul is talking to, he's talking to the holier than thou, these saved folks, right? And who think that their works alone. And look, he talking about the law. We no longer under the law, we under. So Paul is saying that your rituals, if they're not produced from a place of faith, that's not good enough. So Paul is saying what you do, he's referring to rituals of the right thing. But he said rituals won't save you. Rituals won't justify you. The traditions of man make the word of God of. Didn't we just talk about inoperative and in? He said, you doing the same thing over and over because mom and daddy did the same thing over and over is not enough to justify you. It has to be produced from a posture of faith. You can't do works without belief. Yeah. So now that we were under the law, we did it out of ritual. And now that we under grace, we do it out of righteousness. Y'all got to get that. Y'all got to get that. See, Bishop, what they did, they used to do it out of tradition. And now I do it because I trust him. He's saying what you're doing is not enough if the place that it comes from is not a place of faith. You see, we're no longer under the law. So what Paul was saying is your starting place has to be different. Not your what, but your why. Paul is talking about your why. You just doing it, don't know why you're doing it. He says, you work from the wrong posture will not justify you. And then see, then James said, tag me in, Paul, tag me in. He said, all right, now that justify you. Now he said, James came in and said, now your works justify your faith. Do we see that? That's meshing, right? That's not contrary. What he's saying is the place you do it from is faith. And what James is saying is your work is produced because you have faith. You can't have works and not believe. And you can't believe and not have works. These texts are complementing each other, and I was trying to figure it out. And justify has two definitions. Yeah. We're gonna glue this together real quick. And see, so what Paul is saying, I see your works, but faith will be a good reason for your works. One of the definitions of justify is to be a good reason for it. So what Paul is saying, I see your works, but faith will be a good reason for you doing it. And see, James come in, and the other definition of justify is to show or prove to be right. So Paul is saying faith will be a good reason for your works. And James is saying that your works will show and prove your faith. Are we glued together? I just wanted to eliminate that from the beginning for people who use the word as an excuse. Come on. Yeah. I'm talking about use it as a couch instead of a springboard. Yeah. We can't. See, he's saying, okay, I got faith, but now you're complacent. Faith produces. If you're not producing, you inoperative. If you inoperative, you ineffective. Right. Justified twice. It's a good reason for it, and it's proven. It's proving my reason. See what they're talking about here is faith has to be the posture from where you work. A posture is your attitude or your approach. How many know that the why is even more important than the what? Can we agree on that? That the why is even more important than the what? Are you just speaking in tongues because Mama used to? Are you being a spiritual parrot? Are you just repeating stuff that? Why are you doing what you're doing? Do you have a title? That's heavy. Why are you doing what you're doing? I see you doing it, but the place from which you do it is not lining up enough to justify you. See, Bishop, I've been in church all my life, but I ain't been in faith all my life. Bishop, I used to go to church because I had to. Now I go to church because I've got to be where he is. I used to pray because Mom and them told me to because I had to, out of ritual, out of tradition, over and over again. But now I go because I just got to commune with him. My posture of which I was doing what I was doing had to change for me to be justified. It was saying that I wasn't making empty promises, empty sayings, and I had nothing as evidence to produce what I was saying. Do you think you can ever go to court and win a case with words and no evidence to back it? If you on trial for having faith and they can't find one shred of evidence against you, what do you think the verdict is going to return as? I've been in church all my life. I ain't been in faith all my life. And see, what Paul was saying is what you're doing is talking about your work, but there's no faith in what you're doing. And what James is saying is all you're doing now is talking about your faith, but there's no work. And so he opens up the text with a question. Now that we cleared that up, see, man, I love this. See, he asks a question instead of making an allegation. Yeah. Let me let that sink in for a little bit. Because a question gives you something to think about. Yes, sir. We talked about posture. And he said that he opened up with a question and said, hey, faith-filled believer, does it benefit at all to say something with your mouth if there's no evidence to back it up? That's something to think about, isn't it? He let you think about it. See, when we make an accusation, an accusation automatically produces somebody in a defensive posture. And you just looking to they react and not respond, but a question gives you something to think about. He said, think about it. This is what I want you to think about this, Evangelist Hazy. Does it benefit you at all to say that you're an evangelist out of your mouth, but haven't witnessed to anybody? That's something to think about, isn't it? He gave you something to think about. And then he asked, some questions come in two parts. It gives you something to think about while you're thinking about what you're thinking about. So he said, does that benefit you at all to say you have faith with no evidence? He said, can that, because you call it faith, right? But he said, can that kind of faith save you? Because from my perspective, where I'm sitting, it don't sound like you're doing enough. It does not sound like your video is complementing the audio. Because I'm hearing the words that are coming out of your mouth, but I'm not seeing the works coming out of your life. He said, can that kind of faith save? He wanted you to think about it. And then the second question, what I came to realize is it was rhetorical. Because right after he asked it, he answered it. He said, the mere confession of faith is not sufficient. Do you see how he just told you about your holy self? He asked you questions, let you think about it, and then he told you about yourself, about your saved self, about your fit for ministry self. Yeah, about being on the movement, your moving self. He asked you questions, and then he said, what you're doing is not sufficient. He said, the mere claim is not, and then he told you why. Because real and genuine faith produces works. Not sayings, works. Not suggestions, works. Not claims, works. And see, this is what I found, and this is what I see that he was referring to. He said, some Christians think, oh my God, some Christians think they have a confession of faith, but they really only have a profession of faith. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to tell you, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Some people think, this is my confession of faith. But all you really have with no works is just a profession. See, a profession, work with me. A profession is just something that you're saying out of your mouth. I have faith. You hear people, I go to church. I believe in God. I go to praise and worship. I believe in prayer. That's a profession. That's a profession. Think about this. When somebody tell you to confess something, you talk about what? Something that you did. Yeah. A confession is tell me what you did. Not say something. Tell me about what you did. So if you can't tell me about what you did, you don't have a confession of faith. You just got a profession of faith. And a profession of faith is not sufficient. Ooh. See, what you got to do is you got to convert that profession by working into a confession. I used to profess faith, and now that I possess faith, I'm operating in faith, and now I can confess it because I can tell you what I've. My work tells you what I did from a posture of faith. Are we getting this? It said that the text is saying that faith without works, it said it profits nothing. Nothing. It benefits nothing. It profits nothing. So you mean to tell me that we really got saved folks out here that are real life non-profit organizations? Bishop, it's real churches out there. Real traditional churches out there. Ritualistic churches out there. I ain't talking about 501(c)(3). I'm talking about real non-profit organizations. Because there's no works to go with what you're saying. Ooh. It said, because if you're not producing it, it said, look at farmers and what they do when they grow fruits and stuff. It's called what? Produce. Yeah. And when you go produce, it profits something. Yeah. But if it's no produce, it's no. Be careful. You go through your checklist and there's no works. Yeah. You could be a non-profit organization. Right. Yeah, and I ain't talking about your taxes and stuff. I'm talking about non-profit. I'm talking about inoperative, ineffective. They're literally out here. Oh, my God. They're literally out here, non-profit organizations. So what the two apostles, what they're telling us is you got to fuse these two together. They don't stand alone. Faith don't stand alone, and works don't stand alone. You got to put them together if you want to be operative and effective. That's right. If you want to be, see, faith is the justification in the eyes of God. You got it? Faith is with your salvation. And see, works are your justification before men. That's your service, because service will always come with salvation. Right. Oh, y'all will get that. Y'all will get that. So salvation requires my service. And see, your faith in God is your justification of your redemption, and your works before men is your responsibility. I'm going to let that sink. See, I got saved in faith, and now I serve. Yeah. I got redeemed in faith, and now I'm responsible for. Yeah. Responsibility will accompany redemption. Service will accompany salvation. If they not meshed together, inoperative and ineffective. I never want to say, this is, what is it called, an oxymoron. I never want to say I'm a part of the movement and I ain't making any moves. Movement is talking about I'm in motion. I'm standing right here saying I'm in the movement. I'm standing right here in these four walls saying I'm in the movement. That's heavy. It's and see what he goes on to say, Prophet Hall. Then he gave you an example for people that are naive. You just don't get it, do you? So he said, let me put this in layman's terms to you. He said, if somebody is cold and they hungry, I mean, they need a covering. They need to be filled. And they come to you in their condition. Remember, you a person of faith. They come to you in a condition. Because how many know uncover is a condition? And hunger is a condition. And people come to you with their conditions. Yeah. So if you're in position, get ready for conditions. That's for somebody who just want a title. If you are in position, get ready because it come with conditions. Yeah, that's for somebody who don't know the weight of the call. There are conditions coming when positions come. Am I right about it? There are conditions that come because our folks got all kind of conditions. And conditions come with your position. But he said, they came to you in a condition. And you said, go in peace, my brother. Go in peace, my sister. Be warm, but I ain't giving you a coat. Be fed, but I'm not giving you food. He said, what good does that do? But see, this is the thing. You don't realize that you talking, but you haven't done anything for them. You haven't done anything. And see, this is how God look at us when we walk around talking about we faithful, but we don't tithe. Have you ever had your kid do something, you look at them like, boy, what the? But that is how you look. That is how you look walking around saying, I'm a faith-filled believer, but you're not doing any. He said, what good does that do? Because you're not doing anything. And see, verse 17 said, faith without works to back it up is dead. It's dead talk. Yeah. Dead talk. Inoperative. Ineffective. So when you're not producing, we are inoperative, ineffective. When our audio doesn't match our video, we are inoperative and ineffective. When we say the right thing but don't do the right thing, we are inoperative. When we say we intercessors but we only show up when it's preaching time, we are. When it's full for preaching, but empty for prayer, but we say we're intercessors, we are. That means I'm not working, it's not working. It's got to tell your neighbor, it's got to match. It's got to match. See, when we say we forgiving folks, but we don't show them forgiveness, we are inoperative and ineffective. And you see, verse 19 said, okay, you believe in one God. That's cool. I admire that. You believe in one God, but so do the demons. Show me something that's going to distinguish you from the. Your belief don't separate you. Remember Acts 19, the demons with the sons of Sceva, they said, we know God. He said, Jesus, I know. We know the same person. I believe in him just like you believe because I've seen his wrath. So God is saying, show me something that's going to separate you. Because your belief without action is not separating you. He said, before I formed thee in the womb, he said, I sanctify, I separate, I set you apart, but now you blending back in because my original design was for you to be set apart, but right now, what you're not producing any works, I can't distinguish you from the... I'm sorry, y'all, it's going to get better, but this got to, because we in motion this year.
Come on with it.
Yeah, we need some more laborers this year. I'll do it if I got to do it by myself because I'm on the team. You know what I mean? I'm on a team. I can show you what I believe because I'm doing what I'm doing. And he's saying, right now, without words, there's nothing to set you apart. I'm talking about you sitting in one chair, a demon in another one, and y'all looking just alike. He says, show me something different. I need you to produce something. I need your belief to produce something. Your actions from the posture of faith is the only thing that sets you apart. See, yes, Lord. Some folks in the body are just like the fig tree. Yeah. We look faithful. We sound faithful. We wear the same stuff that faithful people wear. We go the same places that faithful people go. We waving leaves like all the other trees in them. But if God was to come check your fruit, if God was to come check your fruit while you're looking faithful, while you're sounding faithful, while you're attending the same folks, what if he was to come check your fruit? Well, what if he walk in here right now and say, fruit check? Would you be able to produce, would you be able to articulate something that you've done and show what you believe? And we know what happened when the fig tree couldn't produce, when it was over in the forest acting like it was producing. He cursed. The fig tree was a hypocrite. Don't be a fig. See, can I show you I got to show you the danger of this. We talk about hypocrite, and he gave the example from the text. He said that if somebody cold and hungry come to you, and you say, hey, go be blessed, go be warm, go be fed. The person, see, the thing is, let me just say it, lazy folks, lazy Christians, get that out in the air. Lazy Christians, the thing is, they think that the folks don't know. Wow. The uncovered, hungry person knew they were still uncovered and hungry when they left. So what this is doing, this mindset, and this is the danger about it, you're not fooling the other folks, you're fooling yourself because you think you're full of faith. The only person you're deceiving is you. God know you're not working. The people know you're not working because they don't see you working, but you sitting up here thinking you got faith. You're fooling yourself. You ain't fooling nobody or deceiving nobody but yourself. We know you're not producing anything. I know that when I came to you in my condition because I thought you could help, I know that I still had a condition when I leave you. You're not fooling the people. You're fooling yourself. You think you got faith, but you're inoperative. Ineffective. I'm talking about I think you doing something. You're inoperative. Ineffective. And he said, so James said, so you've been thinking this whole time you had faith? You've been claiming to be on the faith team this whole time? You've never been in the game? Can that type of faith save you? That means he needed you to reflect on your lack of action, not your actions. Because maybe that'll compel you into action. You know, sometimes guilt will compel you into... But see, that's why if you're in the right posture, if you could never guilt me into doing something I'm already doing because of what I believe. I don't set myself up for that. because I'm working. Can that type of faith? Say, can you imagine, and Bishop talking about this all the time, say you get up to heaven, you next in line, right? And he just pop up on the screen, and they say, all right, Prophet Hall. He said, no, I use myself. All right, Pastor Cooley, this your birth date up here, August 12th. This over here is your death date. You see, y'all thought I was going to make up a date. No man knows the time of the hour. But he said, so this your death date. And he said, is this right here? He said, tell me about your dash. He said, this is definite. That's definite. He said, tell me what you did in this part right here. You here now. He said, and you just say, I believed you, God. Then he said, but what did you do? He said, I trusted you, God. He said, but what did you do? I was part of the movement at UICDI, but what did you move? He said, I was an intercessor. Well, who did you pray for? He said, oh, my God, are y'all with me? He said, I'm a worshiper. He said, but when did you work? He said, I read my word. He said, but who did you spread it to? He said, God, I followed you, but he said, who did you lead to me? Remember, when it's your time, you're going to have to explain your dash. And your dash got to be something that comes from action. It's got to be something that you did, not something that you said, because you got to show people that you believe God. Yes, sir. I operate my life in a manner that shows that I believe God. I can declare healing from my wife before she fully healed, and that's crazy to people, but I do it from a place of faith because I believe God. She know that she an intercessor. She can come get a little prayer in because she believe God. And when she do something that shows that you can see, your works justify your faith. Your faith justify you. He said, God said, but what did you do? But what? He said, God, I thought about you all the time. He said, but who did you tell about me? These are questions. These are questions. Because you know what? Works is a way for people to call your bluff. And I never put myself in a position where I can talk something and not walk it. And you should never put yourself in a position where you're talking what you not walking. Because, see, faith doesn't show itself. Work show it. Yeah. That's what you got to get. You can't visually, like, see the faith, but you can see the works. And you know that it's produced from a place of faith. But see, we got that out the way, right? All right, we good now. We settled on that, right? You got to do something. You got to do something. You can't just say something. You got to do something. And see, this is what I love right here. We are living, what? Epistles. And I thank God for the design of that because pages do turn. Yeah. Trouble don't last always, but pages do turn, right? And chapters do change. And see, I'm a living epistle, right? And see, what I believe, Bishop, what I believe, First Lady, is this shift that we've been experiencing this year because we ended the year on Shake It Off. And then we ended the year on Break the Cycle. You can break it. And then we started the year with fasting. And then we continued to prayer. And then we continued to praise. And now we concluding the fast today. Now it's time to do something. So the shift is from your download to your dispensary. Y'all gonna get that when you get home. The download is complete. Yeah, the download is complete. Now it's time to run the program. And see, I believe, Bishop, I believe that we in our Hebrews 11 chapter right now. And see, you've been reading my living epistle all this time. And my pages turning and my chapters turning. So now when you walk up in my life, you're walking in on my faith chapter. You walking in on my Hebrews 11 chapter. And see, Hebrews 11 is titled and is tagged the faith chapter. And it show you what people did from a position of faith. So when you come in my life for this chapter, you're going to see me doing some work. And when you come in my salvation, you're going to see some service with it. When you're coming to my redemption, you're going to see the responsibility that I carry and the work that I do and the instructions that I follow, because you mess around and caught me up in my faith chapter. You mess around and met me when I was in my faith chapter. And he said, what he says is called in 2019, we started fasting, praying, and praise, but we have shifted into our faith chapter. And now it's time to do something. And see, I'm going to paraphrase most of it, but tell your neighbor I'm in my faith chapter now. It said in 11:2, it said that the elders obtained good testimony by it. We talking about faith. Somebody got to get that. That means that they did something to obtain the testimony. It said, by faith, Abel offered, he in his faith chapter. By faith, Noah moved and built, he in the faith chapter. By faith, Abraham obeyed and sacrificed, he in his faith chapter. By faith, Sarah bore and pushed out. I wish I had time, but she is in her faith chapter now. Rahab, a prostitute, opened up her doors to the people of God because she in her faith chapter. It say that Isaac and Jacob blessed because of their faith chapter. And let me get on Moses. It said that Moses, it said he refused to be called a child of Pharaoh because he's a son of God. So he refused, and then it said he chose suffering. Faith sometimes will cause you to choose suffering. Don't you think Daniel, when he fasted, he was hungry? He had to choose it because of what he believed. Because he in his faith chapter. It said that Moses, by faith, he said he was able to. Yeah. And he walked over the Red Sea on dry land because he was in his faith chapter. And now Pastor Cooley is in his faith chapter. And I don't want to do this. I don't want to paraphrase this. Deacon Bell 11:32, and I'm going to read it while you put it up. It says, and what more shall I say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah, also of David and Samuel and the prophets. Look, who through faith, somebody say through faith. We in our faith chapter say they subdued kingdoms. They worked righteousness. They obtained promises. They stopped the mouth of lions. They quenched the violence of fire. They escaped the edge of the sword. Out of the weakness, they were made strong. They became valiant in battle. They turned flight to people that used to pursue them. And it said that women received their dead raised to life again because they in their faith chapter. Tell your neighbor, I'm in my faith chapter now. Because, see, I see what it produces. I'm in my faith chapter. That's why I don't tithe no more. I give. And you got to understand that because I'm in my faith chapter. And I don't care if the bills do. I'm going to give first because it says, seek ye. They wonder why I'm looking toward the hills instead of looking for help. But I'm in my faith chapter now. Yeah. I'm in my faith chapter now. Somebody got to tell. So you got to get that. I'm in my faith chapter now. So you're going to see me producing something because I'm showing you what I'm believing. I move by faith. I pray by faith. I serve in faith. I stay in faith because I'm in my faith chapter. Oh, somebody got to get that. I'm in my faith chapter now. Oh, you're doing things that you didn't. Because I'm in my faith chapter now. Oh, you're showing me what you believe instead of saying what you believe. I'm in my faith chapter now. See, the enemy done mess around and let the download get complete. And he didn't take me out before the page turned, Bishop. He should have took me out before this chapter. Because now in this chapter, I know how to get it. Now in this chapter, I know that I got to move something to be a part of the movement. And he didn't take me out when he had the chance, and he done messed around and let me get to my faith chapter. I'm in my subduing kingdoms this year. Yeah. Dead raised to life, yeah, this year. Yeah, seats are filled in every service this year because I'm in my faith chapter now. He should have got me before I got here. I'm trying to tell you. If you ever say you was too late, the enemy done found out I'm telling him today he's too late because I done mess around and got to my faith chapter. Ooh. And see, this is why this is important. I'm going to sit down because I'm tired. See, this is what I'm going to do. See, when coaches want to build teams, right? But I'm justifiably tired because I'm working. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. See, you see how we tied that together? Yeah. But God said he's going to give me rest anyway. So I'm good. I'm in my faith chapter. And see, this is important because we have established the movement. And when coaches put teams together, they have tryouts. Yeah. So you say you can play. Now show me if you can play. And fair enough, right? That's what tryouts are, right? You want to be a part of this team, right? Everybody in here want to be a part of the movement? I'm already a part of the movement. And so what he's saying, and see, this is the thing about it. You can start off good and make the team, but your performance can lack and you could be, I'm not getting cut because I'm going to keep playing what I'm saying. See, if you play as well as you say, you can be a part of the. If you do produce as much as you say you produce it, you could be a part of the. Songwriter said there's an army rising up. You know it's requirements you got to complete not only to get in the army, but to stay in it. I'm in my faith chapter. I'm in my faith. See, the movement is a team, and if you're gonna be a part of it, do you know the 4 men that carried the paralytic were a team? You know that took teamwork. They had to level out the stretcher, the spine board. They had to go up. They had to tear up some stuff. They had to let him down because they knew he had a condition. And that's what we're going to have to do. And everybody gets responsible for their own corner. All our jerseys number different. So when it's a penalty, in the game yesterday that I coached, when it was a penalty, he said, let me see your number so I can identify that the error came from you. See, in 2019, the whole team not going to suffer. When my players, oh my God, when my players stop heeding the instructions of the coach, it's time for you to get on them. Because I got players. I got people in line we got people in line that want to be part of the movement. So we don't have time for nobody that's inoperative. And see, we don't have time for anybody that's ineffective because we got some stuff to produce this year. Glory. Whew. You want to call yourself a player if you want to associate with the team. If you want to wear what the team wears, if you want to go where the team goes, then you got to play like the team play. The movement is a team. See, Deacon Bear, you're going to like this. See, and me and Deacon Bear, we fraternity brothers, right? We're in the same fraternity. We have a motto, right, that we say that we profess that we believe in achievement in every field of human endeavor. I'm talking about every field. Whatever you put your hands to, you need to strive to achieve something in that. We're not just doing it just to be doing it. And see, we have an isolated group of people, Bishop, and we call those people T-shirt wearers. And see, what a T-shirt wearer is somebody that they still affiliated, but they're not doing what we say we believe in. They're not doing anything with their life. How can you achieve if you ain't try? How can you accomplish what you won't start? How can you finish what you won't start? How can you complete what you won't build? And so we have these people that still affiliate with us, but they don't operate like we do. And we call them T-shirt wearers. Yeah. See, I vowed that since I'm in my faith chapter that I'm never going to be a T-shirt wearing disciple. We don't have any T-shirt wearers in the movement. We all play. You know why? Because we operate out of what we believe. And we produce from a posture of what we believe. And if you don't do that, then you're considered just a T-shirt wearer. And I vowed to God, because he just does so much for me. What Todd Galbraith said, he been better than good to me. Yeah. So I vowed that this year I'm going to represent his team well. I'm going to attend every practice. I'm going to attend every game. I'm going to shoot every shot that get passed to me. Because I'm not satisfied with just being a part of it. I got to operate with it. It's it's people on teams and NBA teams that never touch the floor. Never. They just dress out and sit there. I want God. What did the song say? Make me, shape me, mold me, and then what? Use me. He already made you. He already shaped you. He already molded you. Now you got to let him. I challenge everybody that associates with the movement to never be a T-shirt wearer. Don't be a spiritual T-shirt wearer. Don't say you're part of the movement, but you don't move. Don't say you're an intercessor, but you don't pray. Don't say you're a praiser, but you miss praise and worship. Don't say you're a disciple and you're not adamantly following Don't call him a rabbi if you're not receiving what he's teaching. And I declare that if we complete our faith season, Bishop, they speak of a crown. And I'm trying to usually you get something after the championship, right? Yeah. I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to be happy to explain my dash. I'm excited to tell God what I did for him because of what he did for me. So I vowed that I'm going to do everything that he called me to do. I'm going to go every place that he called me to go because I'm not going to be a T-shirt wearer because we are the movement. God bless you.